Hello everyone, this is Julian from Kanen Coffee, and today we have a Expobar dual boiler espresso machine with us in the shop. And yeah, I came in for quite a few issues. One being that the machine was having a hard time actually turning on the main power switch, which is the one on the right with the two ons on it, was completely broken. And a lot of the wiring was charred, so I went in there and rewired mostly all the wiring, plus I replaced the switch. As you can see, we're on with the PID, looking at 200 or a little under 200 on the brew boiler side. So after replacing that, we could test the rest of the machine. Going forward from that, we definitely needed an overhaul on this machine, which is where we replace both the top valve of your E61 plus the bottom valve, and sometimes if they have it, the very bottom valve. And we fully cleaned the group head, kind of like a tune-up. We'll still clean up here, new gasket, new shower screen, make sure everything's clean. But also inside the chamber, so usually mean hand scrubbing and or just back flushing quite a lot, and descaling. Also, we descaled both boilers. It took quite a while for this machine because it had quite a lot of scale. And after that, we had an overheating issue with with the pressure stat or pressure gauge. Yeah, pressure stat. We replaced the pressure stat and then calibrated the machine. So as you can see, it usually stops around 1.2 and then it drops. Once it gets around 1, it'll kick back on, go back to 1.2, drop. That's usually what you would want on a machine like this. You don't ever want to exceed 1.5. At that point, you're overheating. Even if it's manually input at 1.5, you're still pushing it to its limit and it'll just overheat quicker. And so we pressed it to 1.2, 1.3, and it'll turn off. Also, there was a few junctions that are right under your steam boiler on the right side that was leaking all over our counter. And so we replaced them. Well, I was originally tasked to first try to just block the junction and reseal it. Maybe it was coming more so from the connection itself, not from the actual elbow. But at the end of it, we had to actually replace both of the elbows because I would replace the one elbow that was leaking, and the one elbow that was leaking actually, or the one I replaced it with, I have both of them here. You see. So here's the original one that's inside of your machine. As you can see, that hole is kind of small. You know, it has a gasket at the bottom to keep it intact. And yeah, but since we cannot buy those, we had to replace it with a different type of junction. This is actually from a Leland machine. And as you can see, that hose size is way bigger. And so when we replaced it with this one, we actually had to replace the other one, and so that we could have a hose that will fit. And so we replaced both of them and the hosing. And so after that, the leak stopped. And yeah, we're about set to test this machine out. And so we're gonna start with a espresso shot. And here's our test coffee that we have. Again, don't worry if it's a little too fast or a little too slow. We don't calibrate any of our grinds to our machines, and also the amount, so it might run a little too fast. We're just making sure water comes out of the port filter to make sure that you actually get pressure. And so it's gonna start ramping up. A little loose, but that's because our coffee is really coarse, and as you can tell by how fast the brew is running. And so don't worry about that. Once you calibrate your grinder at home, it should work more properly. But we're gonna turn that off. And all of that gets exit through the bottom of the valve, all that extra pressure, and we're just gonna take this off just so it stops dripping. As you can see, really coarse coffee, but that's perfectly fine. Now we're gonna test the steam function. I did clean the steam wand out with milk detergent, so it should be nice and clean. As you can see, running really well. We're gonna turn that off, and we're just gonna test the hot water function. Everything running well. And that's about it for this repair. If you like this video or any of our other repairs on our channel, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching.